Any flirting with the WWF before you and Jimmy went together? Any opportunities? Any discussions?
Well, no, we what happened was when Stan was still there, Bill Watts had just taken over WCW, and Jimmy's idea was to work a talent exchange with WCW now that Watts was involved, because they were kind of close. And we did an appearance on WCW, and then we worked with Rock and Roll Express at Fall Brawl, and Watts got fired. So once we worked the Fall Brawl match, some people in WWE or WWF at that time got wind of it and saw that there was talent down in Tennessee, and they needed a spokesman for Yokozuna.
Right.
And they needed and Jim Cornette had done my dad had come in town to visit me, and we did an interview to rib some people in WWE, and we sent the interview in, and they saw the interview, and then they said, this guy, Jim Cornette, could be Yokozuna's spokesman, but we can also use the team. We can get a match out of Rock and Roll and the Heavenly Bodies, and that's how that came about. We actually, it was the Steiners, the first match we were going to do in Detroit, and
Right.
yeah, so that's how that came about. My dad had cut the promo, and they ribbed somebody in WWF. They said, Cornette's pretty good. Let's bring him in. So he brought him. They knew he wouldn't come without his team. They knew he's a loyal guy, and they brought us with him.
Did you have any interactions with them previous to this experience?
Not really. My brother was there, but he was doing his thing, and we try to stay away from business because it's a family deal. So he's got his thing, I had my thing. There was no real discussion until Smoky Mountain.
So who tells you, and what do they lay out at first? Was it just a few TVs and then SummerSlam, and you still went for Smoky Mountain?
Yeah. We were actually going to work out a talent exchange where some WWF talent would come down to Smoky Mountain, and they did. Shawn Michaels came in. Trying to think of who else. I know the Funks came in, but there were some more WWF guys who came in and did shots for Smoky Mountain, and vice versa. They were trying to work out some kind of, like, back then they didn't call it a developmental territory, but that's what they wanted Smoky Mountain to be, is kind of develop some guys, who might need to get away for a little bit and learn how to work, and sit under the learning tree of Jim Cornette, and go from there. But that was the general idea when it started out. Let's see if this can work for both of us, and then Smoky Mountain just couldn't maintain.
Right. I'll tell you a little Tom Pritchard trivia that I bet you don't even know. Your first match in the WWF was against Mike Busey. He was Simon Dean, Supernova, and a guy named Bobby Who. But it was supposed to be Mike Busey and me. We were on the sheet, and then Bobby Who went, and Bobby Who was going to wrestle Bastion Booger. So Bobby Who went to Tony Gurria and said, "Can you take me and put me with the Heavenly Bodies and have me do with Bastion Booger?" Because he told Tony he was kind of hurt. He hurt his pec and he didn't want to take the bumps for Bastion Booger. But the truth, because I rode with him on the way home, he goes, "I wasn't taking that finish that Booger, he sits on your face." You know the finish I'm talking about? He stands over you and literally just he teabags you essentially.
Right.
So I took that, and I didn't get your debut match, but I could have had it.
Well, that's too bad, man. Bobby Who didn't want to get teabagged.
Instead, I got Booger's balls in my face.
Booger's balls. That's terrible, man. I feel bad for you now. I didn't know that. No, that's crazy.
What was your first impression of the WWF locker room? Because at the time, it wasn't these big arenas either. 93, right?
Right. Well, yeah. It was on a down period right after the trial, right after a lot of stuff had gone down, and I had known a lot of guys in the locker room. Knew Scott Hall. Trying to think of who else was there.
Jerry Lawler was there.
Lawler, yeah. So we knew a bunch of people who were there, and the Steiners had worked with Jim before, and so we were all cool there. Everything was great. I thought it was a great locker room.
Did you work with the Steiners previous to SummerSlam?
No, never had. So this was
They,
our first.
they didn't put you on the road. They didn't give you any warm up matches.
Oh, we let me think. We might have had one or two matches with them, but I mean, prior to WWF, we didn't. No, you're right. You're right. Yeah, I think we did have a couple matches with them on the road.
No issues with them.
Oh no, they're great guys.
You guys had the match of the night at SummerSlam.
Well, it was in Detroit. It was their hometown, so we had an advantage there too. So yeah, and plus again, they knew, man, they'd worked at the midnight so many times, so we just did midnight spots, and it was awesome.
You guys are part timers. You come to the back. Anything said to you? Anything said? We'll be in touch. How does that work?
No, it was one of those things that we knew that was a one-off match, supposed to be just a one-off match, and then the more they got to talking to Jimmy, the more I'm sure he rallied for us to get another match in Rock and Roll Express and us at Survivor Series, and then it became Jimmy and I were going to Japan in January, so after SummerSlam. What would be next? Survivor Series?
Survivor Series, yeah.
Okay. So we did Survivor Series, and then I think we did one more match. Or we did a couple matches on the road. And then we went to Japan, and they offered us a deal before we went to Japan. And we told them, we said, we got this this tour overseas, and we'll be back. But yeah, we'd love to take the chance because we thought all these opportunities were going to come our way. And they did. We got some opportunities. We had some stuff come our way.
I never ask anybody dollars and cents, but you always hear, WWF pay-per-view checks, this and that. SummerSlam, good payoff?
Yeah. One of the best payoffs we got so far in our career, and it was against the Steiners. So yeah, payoff was great. The match was great. We have nothing to complain about.
At the time, there was DVDs and stuff, so you'd get royalties every pay-per-view you're on, correct?
Yeah. We just got the envelope the other day, but nobody's really watching DVDs these days. Right. Yeah, that's the deal.
The network.
All that media has gone out the window.
Well, they send you a check from the network every month, I'm sure.
Oh, sure they do. No, we haven't. We haven't seen that.